Advocate Zikalar, the senior counsel has requested to be released, and he said yourself and Advocate Mokhaitz are here. I have given him that permission to leave due to pressing commitments that he must attend to. Honorable members were taking 1 hour 20 minutes until 9:20 with the DA, and then after the DA is the IFP and Honorable James, 1 hour 20 minutes. Your time starts now, Honorable Cameron and Honorable Chopper.
Can I be released, Chair? I'm asking permission to be released.
I have spoken to you, and you and I have agreed that you want to go back home tomorrow. And so I want to help you to go home tomorrow on time. Honorable...
you said, Honorable James, how many? 1 hour?
No, Honorable James and Honorable Mwango, they will spend 1 hour 20 minutes.
All together?
Yes.
Oh.
That's how we do it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Honorable Cameron.
Thank you, Chair. Former Minister, I heard you said, can you be released? But no one's told anyone to shut up tonight. So we're all in good company. No, Mr. Tele, thank you for your patience today. I was saying to one of the journalists outside that from almost all the people that have spoken tonight or throughout this ad hoc committee, you've been very forthcoming with answers. There was no shying away from things, so I must applaud you for that. I have a few questions of clarity in between, but here and there are some new ones that will also come in. The first one that I would like to ask you is that in your statement, you characterize most of the allegations that have been made against you as being politically motivated. It feels to be a standard defense whenever allegations involve your conduct, and I don't say that in a sarcastic way. Everyone is welcome. I don't say that in a sarcastic way, but it does seem throughout this ad hoc committee process that every time we question someone's conduct, it's either because of some kind of a political motive or it's some kind of a vendetta. You referred to yourself as proud of your legacy in SAPS, but respectfully, you were dismissed for misconduct by the President. So I want to ask with my first question, how do you reconcile that pride with being fired for maladministration?
So can I answer now, Chair? But Honorable Cameron, we are not finishing the story. That I was fired by the President and reinstated by the Court of Law. I was brought back by the Court of Law, not by the Commission, by the judge.
But that's not true. You weren't brought back by SAPS. You never entered again as the Commissioner.
Come again?
You didn't continue to be the National Commissioner, did you?
No. No, it's not true that is not true.
No, it's true that that's not true.
No. How can... I was a minister when the court decided. I was a minister when court decided, so I could not go to be the National Commissioner. I would have loved to. It's more nicer to be National Commissioner than the minister. The National Commissioners have more powers, by the way, than the ministers. So I would, but by then, the other thing that I have agreed to do is that that because I'm working, there should be no reinstatement as a national commissioner. Now I'm a minister. The second one that I agreed upon is that I would not call for the money of the year, 2 years that I lost when I was not working. But the court reversed the finding of Judge Mloyi and said I can go back as a national commissioner. It was out of me to stay as a minister and the president.
Honorable Malema.
So the word you are looking for, Minister, is that you were cleared by the court, not reinstated by the court.
Then move to the relationship with Mr. Kat Matlala. I know we've touched on it a lot today. You described him as an acquaintance, yet you accepted the use of his penthouse, and you called him over 10 times in a day. I know it wasn't frantic, as you explained. Is that how you normally treat acquaintances? And the reason I ask that to you is that I struggle to see how most of us, I think, would go and stay in someone's home that we don't actually know, that we've just met, that we're not close to in any way.
What's the question? Is there acquaintance or how did I stay in the house?
I said, is that how you normally treat acquaintances? Do you stay in random people's houses?
No. Well, you also add the 10 times. I did say I phoned the journalist about the story 10 times. So it's not...
No, but I'm asking you a question about acquaintances.
No, I'm coming on that.
Yeah, but you don't have to question me.
No, I'm not. I'm answering to say
Okay.
It's not something abnormal to phone somebody 10 times, including the journalist that you are not an acquaintance with. The difference is that the journalist does not write about himself that he has been phoned 10 times. That's that. It's not because the acquaintance that I slept in the house. It's because it was a free piece. And I'm not working, I'm a pensioner. So here is it's a nice place, by the way. It's a free piece, so I sleep. I'm not in government. I'm not going to declare. I guess if I were in government, I would have gone and declared, but now I sleep, I wake up, I go home.
So if, let's call someone like Ralph Stanfield said to you, go and stay in my house in Constantia for free.
Who is that?
You know exactly who it is.
Stanfield?
Yeah.
I don't know him.
You know him. You spoke about him in the media several times.
I've heard of him, I don't know him. I've seen Matlala. I didn't hear about him only.
No, but you're playing with words now. The point is, if he comes to you, you're an acquaintance, and he says to you, you can stay in my house, would you do it?
Chairperson, I'm sorry. It's his time to tell me to shut up this time. So I'm not playing with words. I'm giving an answer. I'm giving an answer. I'm not playing with words. So maybe playing with words, I'm talking the wrong English, and I don't hope to move to Zulu so that I speak straight. But I'm explaining to say, having met you and having read about you are two different things. I've met Matala. I've read about this guy Stein and all that. So I don't know him as I would know a person. Even once, it does make a difference. That's why I know you even then and also. I'm not playing with the words. I'm really trying to explain. If you feel I'm playing with the word, with words, I hope I'll speak better so that what I'm saying is clear, Honourable Member.
Me too. I don't mean disrespect with the playing of words. You must understand it's Thursday, so my English is finished by now. By tomorrow, I'll be almost 100% Afrikaans. So I think both of us will need to hang in there. Let me make it clearer. If you knew Ralph Stanfield, so if you knew him on the same basis that you knew Kat Matlala, would you go and stay in his house if he said you can live in my house or stay in my house for free when you come to Cape Town?
It will depend on circumstances, how I know him, and where and what I'm doing at the time. For instance, if I was a minister with Matlala, I would not have stayed in his house. If I did, I would have declared. So it's circumstances and conditions that informs the decision that you take in that particular time.
Thank you. My next question, I guess, is the reverse, and that is, would you allow someone that you met once or twice to stay in your house when you're not there?
In my house, if I'm not there and there is nobody else in that house,
Oh, you could be there as well. It depends, I guess, how much you like them when you met them once or twice.
I would.
You would. Okay. You say he's not a business partner. So I want to understand, and I know it was said earlier, but that's where the language barrier came in. I didn't understand everything that Honorable Shongwe asked, so I might be repeating something. You specifically said earlier that you didn't pay for any of these. It was free accommodation, correct? Have you ever had any other business dealings or any kind of financial interest with Mr. Matlala?
Zero, nothing.
Zero, okay. You claim that you didn't know about the criminal allegations or any of the tender controversies regarding Mr. Matlala. But I want to ask you, as being the former police minister, is there no kind of due diligence? The reason I ask this as well, it links to what I asked General Sibiya last week, is that surely before you meet with someone, whether you're in office or not, that experience that you built up over the years with contact in the criminal justice system, surely you do some kind of due diligence.
That is what you call political interference. If, as a minister, I want to know intelligence matters are not for ministers, are for operatives. Because intelligence run programs. They might be running a program about you as a minister. So we have no business. It's a clear operational matter. Unless they come to you and it's got some political issues that you need to communicate as a minister. But that's why they don't need, intelligence people, they don't report mostly to ministers. They report it to National Commissioner. One other person that they can report to is a president than the minister.
So I want to understand this because from my point of view, by that time, if we look at specifically at Kat Matlala, I mean, it's not political interference to use Google. He was all over there. If you look at, for example, maybe I shouldn't use News 24 as an example because it was clear to me earlier that there was discomfort with some of the things that they wrote. But just on that platform, Mr. Matlala had been there a lot. Do you not check who you meet with? Is there, and there are many ways of doing that without interfering in any form of legislative interference. I mean, let's use Facebook as a silly example.
When I was a minister, my support staff, sometimes they would meet. I mean, they would check for me before I meet for the personal safety and other things. But for now, I check nobody. I meet whoever wants to meet me. I'm a free agent. I'm a free South African. If you want to meet me after this, we can meet.
No, I'm all right. Okay. That sounds bad. I don't mean it that way. We can maybe have a coffee tomorrow.
Actually, we own one meeting and to be more civil to one another, you and me.
Yeah.
It could not be now, but some other time.
No, but I think, and we spoke quite a bit today, so
Okay.
I don't think there's any reason for hostility.
Okay.
I'm going to stick to the Kat Matlala discussion a little bit more, and this touches again on what the discussion held with General Sibiya last week. The reason why I keep on asking the questions regarding association is that here we have someone who's the former Minister of Police, or I'm not comparing you directly to General Sibiya, I'm just showing how the questions are similar. And we have a General Sabia who is the Deputy National Commissioner of the South African Police Service, yet he has these brief breakfasts with Brown Mogotsi and maybe touches a bit on Kat Motlala and so on. Does that association not bother you in any way? Is it not problematic to you, or and I mean, you can say we're allowed to agree to disagree. Does it not bother you to have that association?
Honorable Cameron, there's a huge difference between the police and the Minister of Police in terms of operational matters. Worse for a person who's responsible for detectives and intelligence. The question, I was taken aback, and I must say here, I do not believe that he did not know things about Kat at that level and that position. If it's true that he didn't know anything, it does not deserve to bear the job. It does not. Because he's the last line of defense, really. From him and his information, that information must be operationalized. If it is not known there, nothing right will be done by the people that are on operations. For him to say so, I was taken aback, and I said, that can't be.
It's a fair answer. Your personal relationship with Mr. Motlala, or your relationship with Mr. Motlala, did you, and this is just for the record, did you in any way ever participate or influence or advise on any of the decisions or the processes relating to the 360 million rand Medicare 24 contract or any other related procurement in SAPS?
I did not even know about this 360 until I read about it, as it was compared and exposed that is the same person of Tembisa. So I didn't even know. So I had no access to it, so I could not have influenced him when I did not even know about the processes. By the way, it's generic, honorable member, that ministers don't know. Officially should be so. I would not but stand here and say all of us we don't know. But the generic ministers should not know about supply chain management issues.
Then I want to move to just something that I want clarity on regarding your communication with General Nkonazi. Is it true that General Nkonazi didn't take any calls from you since the Major General Khumalo matter, and that PSS Brigadier Shabalala, you know Brigadier Shabalala knows this, and that you started talking again after you approached General Nkonazi at a car wash in Durban later on in the year?
It's true. It's true that for some time we did not talk, but I did not know that it was because of General Khumalo. And unfortunately, I did not either take it as malicious that we are not talking as issue. Okay. Until, by the way, it's him who sent Shabalala, Brigadier Shabalala, to find out and erase the issues that there were problems. So in the car wash, we spoke, but it would be rich to say I approached him. We're both in the car wash. So we approached the car wash, and then we spoke at the car wash.
Maybe that's where we should have our cordial discussion next time, is at the car wash.
And now it sounds like I ran to the car wash to approach him. No, we met it. And we spoke at length, by the way, until we were told to move our cars from the bay because we were blocking. We spoke for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to go to a question, and I know you said were not directly involved with procurement matters. This touches on questions that I asked Minister Mchunu yesterday. Did you know about the fact that the supply chain management head, or Lieutenant General Fani, who came from National Treasury, had a questionable background with regards to his appointment? it's a double-barrel question. I want to know were you aware of the SIU report that implicated General Fani amongst others before you left office?
General Fani, I think, is a lieutenant general.
Correct.
He's a TTG. It's the same argument I've raised, Honorable Member, that I have a problem with appointment of DDGs. Because those that are appointed, they are checked and checked thoroughly. But if Fani comes, General Fani and the other Fani, Masimula, they just meet and they employ one another, you wouldn't. That's that. One would not know the thing. But worse with him, because he comes from treasurer, you would expect people coming from treasurer to be clean and schoon. So you would not really expect that there is a problem when they come from that department, when they come from treasurer. So I didn't know anything about his shenanigans.
Did you know anything about the SIU report once that was? I'm aware that I think it was presented to legal services, but did you know anything about the SIU report?
No, I didn't.
Not. I want to move to the next few questions. I want to touch on the KZN matters. Just in terms of communication, did you have any form of private communication with General Mkhwanazi before his 6 July press briefing?
Private communication?
Any communication. Doesn't necessarily have to be private. Maybe at the car wash.
I think I would. Honorable Member, especially that province, there are a lot of problems that people, they still phone me like nobody's business. I say, but I'm not the minister. They say, but you know what to do. Most of the time, if I'm phoned about the particular matter, then I'll phone two people. Rather than going to the station, junior members, I usually phone two people there. Makoba, who's a deputy to Mkhwanazi, or Mkhwanazi. So I can't remember. But mostly it would be on those matters rather than before, when I would pick up the phone and say, can you do this? Can you do this? But the other thing I want to tell you, Mkhwanazi, there is no provincial commissioner that I've communicated more than Mkhwanazi, because we are there, but they are there. But what I have made a habit is that he must also report, or I will report to the national commissioner that we have communicated. For instance, you would see me in many operations there. You remember when the big bust of drugs at the port and all that. I don't know what you but I would not hear from somewhere else that there's that bust. General Mkhwanazi would tell me, and I'll go there. When police are killed, NIU member Mazibuko, when he was killed, I was on the crime scene. Fortunately, I was just landing in Durban when he phoned me. I said, I'm in Durban. He said, to come and all that. So, but most of the time, if not all the time, we would manage to say to the national commissioner, we are communicating, because I did not encourage this thing of people bypassing the national commission coming to the minister.
Just a question of clarity regarding Mr. Maumela. You mentioned that you met Mr. Matlala, the property that you later found out belonged to Mr. Maumela. We know that he's linked to the whole Tembisa hospital fraud scandal. And I want to ask you, and I think I know what you're going to answer, but as someone who's experienced or trained to a certain extent, you've had years of experience in contact with the criminal justice system. You said that you didn't know whose residence it was. How Is it normal for you to visit houses of people that you don't know who it belongs to? I'm trying to put this in layman terms where I don't imagine just going to someone's house whom I don't know who it is. I'm struggling with this association with certain controversial figures.
Well, you argue that I'm trained. I'm not just having the experience. I'm trained on the military combat work. And that is intelligence on the work that I used to do. But if somebody says to me, meet to Hamilton Road, number 212, I'm not going to ask whose house is that.
But that one's named after you.
No, I'm making an example. So I'm not going to ask, why do we meet in that particular house? I'll just go to that house and I appreciate that this is a good house. And as I said, I didn't even think that was somebody else. I thought it was his house, of which he confirmed that he had 2 houses at Zimbabwe. That was one of them. But I have met people in many ways, maybe coming from my days of underground, honorable member. So you'll be given an address that meets somewhere there, and you go and meet there. And sometimes you realize that it's a dangerous place and all that kind of stuff. So I really don't take it as essential if Honorable in Cameron phones to say we meet at Cameron Street, number 222. I will ask him, whose house is that you are meeting? And you tell me, and then I will come. No. We just go and I have met people there, including the king, by the way. I have met the king there. I was given the address at Zimbabwe, given the code, open and go there. I did not even ask. I know that the king doesn't have the house at Zimbabwe, but I was not going to ask the king, so whose house is this? But these things happen.
I want to move to your relationship with Mr. Timmy Marimutu. Do you know Mr. Marimutu?
Very well.
So you've obviously met with him, spoken with him, communicated with him. What's the nature of your relationship with Mr. Marimutu?
Mr. Marimutu used to be a police officer, I'm told, arrested for drug issues, I'm told. But when I went for transport, I found him at the transport department doing some work. He was specializing on the rural access roads with his contract. That's how I began to know him, that we're working on transport matters. So the talk will be around that. But at the later stage, I did realize that he was quite close with intelligence people. How I did know that is that my relationship was really on a hard rock with Mdluli. And he spoke to me and organized the meeting between me and Mdluli. So I realized that this guy is not an ordinary contract guy. He must be having some. But at the later stage, there was that accusation, which they put me on, of which I did not know, that he has put his relatives, most of them, in the crime in intelligence, of which Mdluli signed. So that's a kind of talking, and that's a kind of relationship that I would have with them.
And do you still speak frequently, or is that in the past?
I think it would be more than 2 years that we haven't spoken.
Okay. I wanted to ask you, you touched on the appointments in crime intelligence, but were you also aware of the Hawks investigation regarding allegations of human trafficking and or trafficking specifically for sex allegations linked to Mr. Marimutu's family? And you've already said that you knew about his connection with crime intelligence.
That information I've only got it from the papers, from the newspapers, but I'm aware through reading it.
I want to then understand, and we did touch on the taxi industry. So I'm not going to go into the taxi industry now. I think we've covered a lot of that. I want to understand, during your time as police minister, what safeguards did you implement to ensure that you were not exposed to proximity risks or conflicts when interacting with figures from the taxi industry, dangerous figures? Did you put certain mechanisms in place?
Well, besides having protectors, there is no special mechanism that I'll put. Mr. Honorable Member Cameron, that's a dangerous world. A dangerous world.
Which one?
The taxi industry. It's a dangerous world. Too many people we have lost there. People die there. As I was saying, you sit here, I talk with you like this, and the next day you are gone. Whenever you get involved on it, you must have a little bit of a prayer, because yourself, you don't know what next will happen. Again, going back to General Mkhwanazi, well, he spoke about the Katomena team. For some reasons, I love police, and I don't know how I fall in love with them, because I was one person that was messed up by the police. I was messed up big time. One person that I didn't like in life big time is General Poison. I didn't like that man. When he came to investigate the matter, massacre of Shoba, and I chased him away. And then they sent Pushy Engelberg. I don't know if you know Pushy Engelberg. I chased him away until the minister, then Mafumati, spoke to me that, you know what, you go investigate this thing yourself. Because I was chasing everybody away as this person, as an activist. I must be careful again with the word activist. It gave some trouble here. So, as an activist, I had a problem until Bush was allowed. I don't think there is a police officer like Bush Engelberg today. The job he did. But slowly but surely, human beings are dynamic things. You get to know one another and all. One person that were close and friends today is Poison. Is Poison. We're fine, we're good and all that. One other thing that put us together was to work on the taxi industry. Because that unit of his, even today, taxi industry people themselves, they still complain. Why don't, they are called Kito. Kito is a Zulu word coming from Kato crest. They ask, why don't you bring them back and fix the thing? So the one major thing happened, there was the killing of Colonel Kong. One good human being and good police was shot and killed by the taxi industry. I was mad. Poison was mad. Poison did not arrest anybody. Anybody that did thing to Kong was permanently arrested. So they put so much effort. At one time, the cash heist was zero in KZN. Zero. I mean zero, because of that unit. Whoever killed that unit is guilty of increasing the crime in South Africa and in that province. That's how I forever look at it. And the reason why Mkhwanazi Mthethwa, they took that path of killing that thing. I don't know. But what I knew is that Mthethwa was may his soul rest in peace. Mthethwa was on this thing of reversing things that have been done and working. It was not only him reversing things. It was with his president. He's the president of one organization today. But he was with his president to reverse things. You know, we built a solid police. As your chair, you go and check your crime stats, Honorable. I'm sure you have checked your crime stats. Yeah. Look at 2009. Look at 2010. Look at 2011. From 2012, what was a Concord?
It shot up.
Was a Concord up to this point. You know why they were Concord sometimes? Because all structures were dismantled. The management that was found there was dismantled. Could not be Mkhwanazi on this one. But Riah gave the men the bells. Give the men the bells for the destruction she caused in the South African police. Give the men the bells.
I want to understand, and just briefly, what was that destruction? You've touched on it a little bit, and I didn't even write this down, but in your opinion, what was that destruction that Riah Phiyega caused?
Destruction?
Yeah.
First thing, everybody that I worked with dispersed him. It took Masimula to Limpopo as a deputy. It took Mkhwanazi, highly decorated, because people, they think I can change. It's a fact that Mkhwanazi is highly decorated. Took Mkhwanazi and told him to guard the buildings. Mkhwanazi was guarding the buildings, property, the offices. This, you know, there is a competition of the special forces that usually takes place at a place called Dubai. At one time when Mkhwanazi was there, it took place in France. The Special Task Force of South Africa was number 4 in the world. We were number 4. Under Riah Phiyega, we were number 40. She added 0.
I'm trying to be serious here. You're making it very
I'm
difficult.
serious. I'm serious. We're number 40. Last time there, I was invited. I was invited to go and receive the award for them. I think they were number 14. So I can't receive the number 14 award. But in France, I did go and I received the number 4 in the world. In the world. So that thing went down. But the real mess that she did, was to kill the TROT, Technical Response Team. You know, just a little bit of a minute how it started about. People, they call it Beggar's Police, Tellers Police. I don't know why they don't call other units about people that they started. When I joined the police, honorable member, in Pretoria, the third day, there was a cash heist in the city of Swane. As I came there, 2 police were shot and killed from local station. And I found Mercedes-Benz C-Class, I don't know if it is an advert, C-Class and GTI, and those were getaway cars for the criminals. Police came in a Corona, 1.3. I said, even if they find these guys on the scene and chase them much, what is this C-Class 2.8? And then I said, from now on, 2 things we're going to do. We're going to buy police cars. The GTI, the police, and BMWs came that time. That's when we bought GTI in the police. That's why every police drives GTI today. And Focus and all that. But the other problem that you had, these elite units, two of them, that's your Special Force and NIU, were geographically placed. They were only in Gauteng, KZN, Eastern Cape, and Western Cape. So other provinces didn't have them. So the TRT was built for them to hold the fort as we were waiting for these guys. But TRT did not hold the fort. They did the job. TRT moored the Kesha's guys. They moored them goed. Now, that was the first one. The second one of their job, that time we had cluster. I know you have had interest in the police. We have cluster policing, where 5 stations to 7 will be together. We said every station will have about 10 members of the TRT, Amaparet. So if there is an incident there, they will converge and respond. But if not, they will patrol their precincts. That's why crime like pickpocketing, crime like housebreaking, because those guys, they saturated and took over policing every street, every township. Even today, if you move around here, people are asking, where are the pirates? Ask Riah Phiyega, where are they? As she come, it dismantles them. It took their cars, it took a veto that they were using and give it to the police, to the station commander. How do you take a veto and give it to the station commander to go and buy milk? So that's it. But one other thing is to displace people. Your Hawks, Dramat was taken away from there. Everybody was taken away from there and all that. So it was a systematic kind of dismantlement. But the big one, the numbers were allowed of the police to dwindle from 195,000 to the population of 50 million, dwindled to 187 to the population of 62 million. Hence, we had to really fight hard with the Cabinet 6 to say, Mr. President and Mr. Kotongan, give us some money. We managed to get the training of police 10,000 in the circle of 10, though we had a problem because the colleges were few to accommodate all these people. So we went to ask the accommodation from the army. They gave us their base in Kimberley and they charged us R1 billion for that. Sure. They charged us R1 billion so we had to go to small numbers because we did not have R1 billion to pay for the army. But that was a big thing to dismantle. And as we came back, it took a lot to re-establish the police. I don't want to go much on that. But one other thing that we did was to create the Operation Chanela. Operation Chanela, I can explain about it and all that kind of thing. I hope it's coming back. But I must say, I am really sad. I think the working of the police has been really disturbed by this kind of a thing. It might take longer again to put the police in a fast lane.
I want to just move back slightly. Why do you think they closed Cato Manor, the squad?
Mkwanazi is still there. Maybe when he comes back, ask him.
Okay. You mentioned earlier today that, we know about it, that there were members who tapped your communication. They listened to your calls. Do you know who those members are, and if so, are they still in the police?
You know, the other one is who is Patayash or Peruman, the one who arrested Kumar.
From IDAC?
From IDAC is one of them.
Sure.
That guy, 3 guys were arrested. I think one is Tele and can't remember, and Puruman. So they were made sacrificial land by Moodley.
So Moodley was also involved.
Hayi kancane, not small time, big time.
Yo.
Moodley.
Was sorry, I'm interrupting. I just want to get clarity. So Moodley, was Khan involved in any way?
No, I wouldn't tell if Kanye was. I don't have that information.
Okay.
But Moodley, yes. And then, who's this? Patayasho Peruman, this guy. He has been in crime intelligence. He has now moved to IDEC and is regarded as a top investigator. There are no investigators in CI. Since when he has become a top investigator, that he has, his first job is to arrest Khumalo after he has written a letter by Nkabinde, because Khumalo was arrested after the letter has been written by Nkabinde. So where it has come from? But the other thing, the husband of the head of the IDEC works in the CI, and they're not friends with Khumalo. And they're not friends with Khumalo, and he works in the CI. That's my home girl. That is the head of. What I would love to know, when this law came, you would know that there is a structure that oversees police. That is your iPad. You would know that there is a structure that oversees Hawks. That is a Hawks judge. Who oversees IDEC? Who oversees IDEC? Or are they law unto themselves? You can't have a powerful structure that does as its wishes and nobody looks after it. Hence, we have a judge that looks after the Hawks. That judge is there. You report to the judge, you go to IPID, either they work or what, they exist. I guess these lawyers sitting there, there can be a structure that you can take to them if they get out of it. There is a structure where you took Klope to, whether correct or incorrect, but where do you take IDEC? When they arrest somebody for hiring somebody, it's a disaster to have such a structure that nobody oversees it. Maybe the legislators can look at that as the time goes on.
What do you think? And this is also, I'm going off the list that I made today, but what do you think the reason is for that specific group targeting General Khumalo?
Ask Nkabinde. It's Nkabinde who wrote the letter there. I don't know if somebody sent it, but I'm told it was written by him to say act. So I don't know. I don't. But Auntie Mary has serious issues with Khumalo and Ngcele. I hope ITEC doesn't come to knocking my door again one day. But has a serious issue with Khumalo and all. But I don't have a reason why they would have a problem with Khumalo.
Honorable Ngola.
No, Chair, the General keeps on repeating a letter written by Nkabinde. Maybe if you can be clarified which letter is that, so that we are able to even check if it's part of the evidence that we have. Thank you.
No, it's not the part of the evidence. But there was a letter from him to IDEC to say IDEC must act on the crime intelligence people. Maybe at a certain given time, the letter could be found. I hope.
Thanks, General. Chair, because we're going to have IDEC, so I think let's just take it as it comes. We're going to pursue it. Thank you.
Honorable Cameron, you may proceed.
Thank you, Chair. I've got one or two last questions. You mentioned, and this is, I might come back to crime intelligence again, but you mentioned earlier the Judge Tulare judgment when he spoke about the alleged infiltration of parts of the judiciary, etc., by certain gangs or criminal groupings. Why it feels there have been many calls regarding the Colonel Kinnear report, that there were very specific SAPS members implicated in that. Why is it that even during your time, many of those members are still in SAPS? What was the struggle? What went wrong after the Kinnear report was finalized?
You remember, or you were not here, Kenya report was finalized and classified. So ministers don't classify the reports. Reports are classified by those people who had those particular structures. I must agree. I don't think that Kenya really received a fair kind of process. I fully don't agree. So I always feel supportive to the wife when she's angry. And personally, I would say maybe all of us could have done much better to deal with the issue of the murder of one of the good cops that was dealing with that situation. And that's a part of what the judge says. But Western Cape is one of the area when it comes to policing, prosecution, by the way, that has been problematic. I'm sure you'll hear one day that there is an inquest. There is an inquest in the death of Moses Tembe's daughter. Honorable member, police did the investigation and they believed that that daughter was murdered. They believed. They went time and again to the prosecutor for the things to be enrolled. They would say, go back, dot the I's and cross the T's. Until they said, if you can't do it, give us a certificate. I went to the president personally. I said, Mr. President, your Minister of Police is going to do something funny. Is going to support the private prosecution. And the prosecutor refused to give certificate. So he can't prosecute, he can't give certificate. So you're stuck in the middle. But now I know that inquest, the magistrate that is there now is asking the question, why this thing was not enrolled, because it's an obvious case. You should ask the prosecutor that did not enroll it in this Western Cape.
Chair, I think that's an important note for us as an ad hoc committee. Is just regard the two things, and I'm sure former Minister Cele would agree. The integrated justice system, the fact that we don't have that yet. So very often the police get the blame for things that they shouldn't be getting the blame for. So we need that system to really pinpoint where the issues, the real issues are. That's the one thing. The second thing is I think something to zoom in on with all of this is to really sample where the prosecution crisis lies. Justice Chair can lead the way for us. He says he doesn't have much work, so he certainly can. Chair, that's it from me. No more questions. I'm glad we've ended this discussion better than we did previously. Thank you, Minister.
Okay, we'll see that at a later stage.